With the passage of time, all traces of anthracite coal mining are disappearing from the landscape of northeastern Pennsylvania. Gone are the once prevalent coal breakers that were present in communities from Forest City to Tower City. Gone are the company houses built for the miners and replaced by developments. And gone are the miners. At undergroundminers.com, our purpose is to document this page of industrial history. One of the last big colliery miners is Phil Voystock of Freeland, Pennsylvania. Join us as Phil recounts his life working underground in the Anthracite region of Pennsylvania.
But I can say it was a simple life, and I enjoyed every damn minute of it now that I'm old and look back at it. At the time, I probably didn't enjoy it. I was just caught up in living and stuff. But the way I see the world today, and I look back at how I was brought up and my friends, geez, what a difference. I enjoyed it then. Like I told you, I didn't have enough money to take a girl to the movies, but it worked out. There's always a way. And that simple way in the coal region, I enjoyed it. And now I look back, they were wonderful years. Cracking coal. Oh, we made moonshine. We made beer. We made elderberry wine, chokecherry wine, dandelion blossom wine. I know we used to wash out the ketchup bottle for beer. Pop made it and put it down the cellar. And nobody got drunk and caused trouble. At night they'd have their beer. There was no microbreweries like there is today. And what the hell, there was no McDougal's or Burglar King or anything like that. Mom made potato cakes. And corn fritters. Sure, hot dogs and marshmallows we made. Build a fire. Roast potatoes was a big thing. Raiding gardens was a big thing. Plums, grapes, pears, sneak in at night. Yeah, didn't cause no harm. Just kids. But I loved them. Now looking back, I was very lucky. And I was lucky to work at the mines that I did, the different types of mining, the jobs. Because I never passed nothing up. You want a job? Yeah, I'll learn it. I got 2 good arms and 2 good legs, I'll make a living. That's what I used to say to myself. So, that's all I can tell you. Electric drills, we hated.
Yeah, yeah, we hate it too.
Let me see.
But this was.
Let's see.
And we're gonna move over to Heckshersville, and this was a setup that some guys built. That's the slope, obviously, in the shanty.
So, Phil, what we're going to do is basically you and Banks are just going to have a conversation.
Sure.
So don't worry about looking at the cameras or me or Dad. Just look at you guys talk, and
Sure.
and that's that.
Okay, we're good.
All right. So this thing synchronizes all the sounds together.
Okay.
You know, like in the film. There you go.
Well, Phil, we came down here to see you today as kind of like anthracite brethren. You are a living legend in the anthracite region, at least to us, you know, and a lot of other people you are. And we just wanted to come down and talk to you, talk about your life, talk about your legacy, and, you know, your childhood, how you grew up in the region. Was your dad a coal miner? Your grandparents, your uncles? From when you grew up, went to school, joined the service, came back, worked in the mines. I mean, how was it growing up in the anthracite?
Good. I grew up in Upper Lehigh over there. Dad worked in the mines. My grandfather worked in the mines. Well, my son is the only one out of 4 generations didn't work in the mines. I came out of the Army in 1947. They were all going to Jersey, Kelco Chemical and all them plants. We tried it for a week or two. We didn't like it, me and another guy. We come back here. They said, hey, they're hiring in Sugar Notch, but they're only hiring laborers and miners. Do you want to go up as a laborer? So we were drinking down in a bar down there, and Henny Arnold said, Phil, you go with me. I'll take you as a laborer. And then Dietrich and Tommy Unax picked 2 other guys. We'll go up Monday morning and see Anthony. He was the head guy outside at Sugar Notch. So we went up, and we told him I was green. I didn't know. I was never in the mines. And he said, yeah, okay. He said, Henry, you got papers? Yeah, okay. All right, come out tomorrow. So I started with him in the Baltimore vein. It was a platform job. I don't know if you know what a platform job is. You were that high off the gangway. They just built the platform a few inches above the head of car, and you scooped right in the car. There wasn't much pitch, but we put a sheet iron in anyway to hurry it up,
Mm-hmm.
And it was all old workings. We took skips off the one side of the pillar. We started up and kept coming back. And that's how I started as being labor. And there was, like I said, there was a pretty big in there. It was about 5, maybe 6 inches. We had to gob that. Gob, you know what gob
sure.
is.
Yep.
We had to put it on the side and load these. You had to save your lumps, chunks, they say.
Uh-huh.
As about that size, you put them on the side, scooped your car full, then you took the chunks and you put them all around the car.
To build high topping,
That's right. And you scooped it full. Because when they brought the cars in, they thought, oh Christ, I can fill them cars. But there was a thing in the car, both sides. And when they lifted it up, it made the car that much higher. It was like a swing board.
Right.
And then they had end boards at the end of the car. You saved them, and 2 pieces of wood, and stick it there, and fill it up.
Mm-hmm.
That was your car. They wanted 3. So we could give them 3. And, what's his name? Anthony, his brother, he'd come in and say, your gob pile ain't growing, pal. That meant the slate's going in the car.
Sneaking it out in the coal.
Yeah. He'd give us hell once in a while. But I worked that job with him, I guess, maybe 6, 8 months. And he decided to go to Baltimore. So he left, and that left me as a laborer. So.
Now, in terms of Baltimore, you mean the Baltimore Tunnel? Was that still going at that time, or you mean actually Baltimore?
The vein.
The vein.
The vein.
Oh, so he was going to the Baltimore vein.
The vein. They called it the Baltimore vein.
Yep.
Yeah. And I said, I'll go anywhere. What the hell? I needed a job.
Okay, yeah.
So he said to me, you go in with old needles tomorrow morning. So, the hell, okay. So this poor old bastard, he was dead on his feet. No wonder they put me in there. They were betting on me how long I would last. He had a hand machine. Do you know what a hand machine is?
Like a hand drill? What do you... Actual hand drill?
Yeah.
Okay.
They had you took a pick, and you drove a pin in the face. As far as you could get it, was a bar about that long with a hole in it at the end.
Sure.
And then they had a thread box with a lid on it. And that was the thread.
Uh-huh.
Then you got your drill, was a drill with threads in it.
Uh-huh.
You set it in that thread box, in a little lock there, and you put it in. Oh boy, that was tough. You got your 4 foot in, then you changed over to a 2 or 3 foot drill. You drilled your openers, drilled your 3 bottoms and 2 tops, and fired. Well, I worked with that guy, maybe almost a year. I got toughened up with him because I did all the work. All he did was make the powder and fire. See, they put an old guy and a young guy together all the time, which was good. I was a greenhorn. I was learning from him, you know.
And the mechanical way yet.
Yeah,
no electric,
geez,
no air drill.
my arms would be lead from drilling.
Sure.
And he always insisted, get that file and file the bits. I guess 6-8 months I worked in that vein with him. He got sick. And then I went, they had a bird eye, what they called the bird eye vein. The son of a bitch was only that high, and it was a good pitch on it.
Uh-huh.
You had to crawl on your belly, for Christ's sake, to get up there. The boss couldn't get up there because he had a big belly. So we'd go up there. 2 cars is all they wanted from that. Because you'd fire up there, you'd get it down the platform and scoop it. And that was a shift.
Uh-huh.
So I worked that for a while. Then I had a buddy here, Joe McLaugh. We're drinking in a bar one day, and he says, they're going to start something over in number 5. They're going to drive an airway. Why don't you go down and see Billy Victors and ask him for a job? Tell him you're working in the mines.
Now the number 5 being where?
Number 5 Jetta.
Okay.
Over here. Right where you guys go to Eckley, where them roads come in.
Sure.
Well, if you walk over there 100 feet, we sunk a shaft down 81 feet straight down. That bastard of a job, a lot of water, and we mucked it out with a pulley. They had a pulley and a bucket. Dumped it in a little buggy and dumped it in. The stripping was right there. We dumped it. Well, I worked that. We drove 40-some feet, 48, 49 feet in straight. We broke into the guys that was coming up from inside. And as soon as we met them, they stopped the job. That was up for the timbermen and the other guys to do the cleaning up and that.
Okay.
So I figured, geez, maybe it might have worked. But Danny Boner was the boss, and he came to me and he said, Phil, I want you to go to drifting tomorrow. Get a hook, take your clothes. He said, you can run a scraper engine, can't you? I never seen a scraper engine. And he's there like this with all the guys around. Oh, yeah. I said, I can run a scraper engine. So that's how I got the job running scraper, you know, the bucket.
A drag.
Yeah.
We call them a drag or a
We
slusher.
called it a bucket. It was
Sure.
a V-shaped thing.
Yep.
And they were up pretty far. You couldn't see them. So we had a bell there.
Okay.
And they were, 1 up, 2 was to go ahead, 3 was to come back. And you had to go by that bell. And we'd load maybe 2-3 cars, but they were Jetta cars. They were 5-tonners, them bastards.
Big boys.
Oh, man. You got close to 6 when you put a heap on them. And Jetta wanted them loaded. That was a good job. I worked that, I don't know, about a year. laid off. They shut it down. And the two guys there, Barron went inside. He had a job inside number 5 Jetta in coal. And the other guy went to Stockton. Stockton was still digging coal. They were still mining coal and stuff. And he said, Phil, you go to see Tommy Glynn in the morning and get it. They'll tell you where to go. So I did. I went there. That was a good job. You sit there, but you had to load the car. You could only load it at half. Then you had to get down and move the car. You get 2 sprags in there. You know, you try to get the one sprag out and then catch it.
Yeah.
And then get her, load the other half. Then there was a little pitch there. I'd give her a little start and I'd throw the sprag in and let her go. And then the other ones I'd just bump up. One day, he said, what you better do, he said, you're getting good at that. He said, you better put some sprags along the road because you're going to miss. I won't miss. One day I had 2, I always carried 2 sprags. I missed the first one and I missed the second one. And the car started rolling, going down to the turnout. So I had to run. I run like hell, hollering, run away, run away, run away. And they heard me down at the end of the tunnel. And it hit the motor down there. They were off the motor. And it didn't do any damage, just pushed it down. So that from that, I learned. Keep enough of sprags there on that job. And I loved it. That was up in 67. Worked that, I guess, I don't know, maybe almost a year. Shut it down. They were losing the market in the cities at that time for coal. And they were starting to cut back and shut down, days off. I said, okay. Somebody said, they're hiring up in Kidder Slope for Glen Alden. I said, okay. I went up to, do you know where Kidder Slope was? There's a low-income building sitting there now. Well, they had a drift going in there. And you went in on this drift. Boy, that was a wicked. Then he said, okay, line up in the morning, 3, 4 guys. They had a belt, big wide belt. He said, everybody hold on to your lunch and roll on this belt. So 3 of us did that. Well, I got on this damn belt, and what they would do, they would stop at certain places. This belt went down, didn't go fast. And he said, when it stops the first time, you get off. Well, you just rolled off. It was only that high, you couldn't stand up. What the hell did I get into? But I got off. Then you got on a jalopy, a small conveyor about that big with flights in it. And we just sat on that and they reversed it. And that took you down maybe another 150 feet. And then they stopped. Okay, everybody out. Stop. They had what they called drilling teams. The guys, 2 guys would go in and drill the cut, and they'd fire it. And then us guys would do the scoop, and that was the north dip. He said, you're going in the north dip. I didn't know what. And you scoop this into this conveyor. The conveyor took the coal out to the belt. And then the belt took it out to a loading station where we come in. And then it took it outside, took it up. They had a rope rider. He'd ride the car up, throw the switch. The mine car would run down, stop, and they had a railroad car there. And the car would dump the coal in the railroad car. That went to Huber. They didn't have no breaker or nothing there at Kidder Slope. It wasn't too bad. But you had to put knee pads on. Son of a bitch, your knees would get sore. You're always on your knees. And they had a skid. I showed them a skid up in Cooper's fish place along the river. That's the only place I ever saw a skid. If the drilling team was drilling over there and you needed a drill, you didn't have enough of coal, you took your jackhammer and you laid it on this skid. And then you hooked a steel cable on it and you run it up to the face. They had a bar in there and a pulley, brought it back to the jackhammer and hooked it on, and then you just drilled. And that brought your hammer up. You didn't need too many holes because it wasn't that high.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was pretty good. So one day, the guy says, "Come on, we're going for props." I said, okay. Grab that hammer. Well, a hammer for props? I grabbed the hammer, a couple nails, and big spikes, and we went crawling. Boy, you could see a sea of props on the right. It was all worked out. And he'd take his hammer and he hit the prop. And if it was loose, bang, he'd knock it out. But if it was tight, we'd move to another one. We'd get 2 or 3. We'd drive a nail in them and dynamited wire, tie it around, and drag them all the way back to our job. And we'd put them up because we were moving ahead. I was a little wicked there. You're knocking out props. But I didn't care. I didn't know the danger, really, to tell you the truth, at the time. I guess I worked that. Maybe a year. One day, it was my turn to go out from under the timber, and there was a piece of coal came down, a chunk. It must have been about that thick. And it come down and it wedged right at our draw hole. And he was there boring and he tried to pick it. He looked at me and said, "No," I said, I'll go in and try to smash it. If not, why, hand me a couple sticks of 60, you know.
The 60 that you were...
We always had that on hand. I had to buy them whiskey and beer in the barroom, though, to get that 60. So I remember crawling in the damn hole, and I was taught always to listen. You listen. Because if anything's moving or working, you'll hear a tick, tick. Little pieces will be falling off. I shine my light around, I listen. I didn't hear nothing. But I'm hunched over, see, because it's small in there. And I took the pick. I figured I can smash that son of a bitch maybe with this pick. I was on my knees, and I took the pick, and the first swing, that's all I remember. The whole back come down and covered me. Mm. I was stunned and out for a while. The helmet saved me. You should see, I should have saved that goddamn helmet. It smashed it. And it pushed my face down into that lump that I was cracking. And he said the pick went right up alongside my head. If I'd have been over a little bit, the pick would have right through me head. So he pulled me down with my boots. He started getting the coal away. Well, when I got down to the head in there, or to the slant, boy, I felt, the blood started coming out. I said, I better get to the hospital. Yeah, he said, so I slid on my ass down that slant sheet iron, down to the main job that we were coming up, our manway. So I got down there, and I walked down. And I got down, and he said, he said, you got to go to the hospital. Yeah, he said, come on, we'll take you out. See, at the shaft, they had a shaft and they had a slope. He said, we'll take you out to the slope. because this was night shift. They were hoisting coal on a shaft. I got out to the bottom. It was a pretty good walk. We got out there. The guy said, no. He said, you go back, and they'll stop hoisting coal, and they'll hoist you out the shaft, get you out of here. So, okay. So they hoisted me back out. And they said, when I got out to the wash shanty there and I got off the cage, I guess I was in shock, probably. So they took my ass to the hospital and they cleaned me up as best they could. They cut my clothes off me. And I never knew I was cut that bad. And they cleaned me. See, they didn't know them days what they know today. They'd have probably sucked that coal dirt out. But they just sewed me up quick because I was bleeding like a pig. I don't know how long I was in the hospital. I don't know, a week, 2 weeks. Then I come out, and I never went back to that job. Something made me know. And I was making money. We were making money at that time. We make $35 a piece a day. That was good money. 1950, 51, 52, 53. The whole rib kicked out and pushed him. He was standing just like this. The coal just pushed him against the next rib. He was just standing there. We got chased because we went up and over, and I said, come on, I want to see. We wanted to help, but they had enough of help there to dig him out. And as the coal was coming down more and more, there he was standing, deader than a doornail, graveyard dead. When that coal hits you, buddy, even if it comes across the room and shoo. But that makes you safety conscious for a while. Then you go back to your old ways. Well, what I can say, it was a simple life, and I enjoyed every damn minute of it. Now that I'm old and look back at it, at the time I probably didn't enjoy it. I was just caught up in living and stuff. But the way I see the world today, and I look back at how I was brought up and my friends, geez, what a difference. I enjoyed it then. Like I told you, I didn't have enough money to take a girl to the movies, but worked out. There's always a way. And that simple way in the coal region, I enjoyed it. And now I look back, they were wonderful years. Cracking coal.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Well, there they wanted us to use twist drill. We never used it. You can see them.
Yep.
Christ, you'd be all day drilling with twist drill.
That's where they thread themselves in, right?
Yeah,
As they go.
and then the dust would come out of it. It would bring the dust out. Most of it, anyway.
Pneumatic ones? Or
There.
yeah.
But it was so slow. Put a straight steel in the son of a bitch, dump some oil in her.
Still dreaming about them jackhammers, right?
The son of a bitch will black and blue mark here for a long time. From drilling top holes.
Phil, you ready to get after it again?
No, Jesus.
You ready to give him a shot?
Yeah. What kind is that?
Is it Ingersoll? I don't know, what is this, Bank? You know?
Them bastards are 65 pounds, some of them.
Oh, we got the cutest little one too, but we don't have it here. It's about half the size of this. It's a real nice one.
Yeah, they made a red devil, what they used to call. We used to steal them from one job to the other. Yeah.
The truth comes out.
Yeah.
I think the statute of limitations are up on that.
Yeah.